Hey there, my name is Chris Acton with Acton Creative, and this is a handwoven experience. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about overshot variations using color. Now, if you've been keeping up with all the Acton Creative things, you know that last week I brought you an episode very similar. It was overshot variations using treadling. So in that episode, I start with a pattern called a German pattern by Marguerite Porter Davison. And I take that pattern, which is beautiful and lovely, but I break it into its basic components and then I put it back together in a fun and interesting way for me, right? It's a way to really be creative and stretch those kind of creative muscles. They need a little workout on occasion, right? Versus just always following someone's instructions. You're like, hey, what if I made my own thing? So we're gonna carry that theme over into today's episode, but we're gonna do it with color. Oof, you know I love me some color. So this was absolutely no hardship whatsoever. Now, we all know that color in weaving is a big deal, right? We have two sets of yarns where we have opportunities to put lots and lots of color. And color can make a huge difference in a project. Am I right? Yes. So let me just kind of start to get us in the mood and show you a project, an overshot project that I recently finished using a German pattern, but in 3 different colorways. And you can see the huge difference that it makes. We'll start with this guy here. So this is using a Marguerite's pattern exactly as written, right? She has this sweet little circle element here that kind of dovetails into each other. See this? Very pretty. So you got an idea, right? This is the kind of cranberry version. All right. Look at it in the blue. Very different, right? And I don't know if you can see, this has a little bit of sparkle in it. Cool, right? But completely different look. And if that wasn't exciting enough, let's look at this guy. This one always makes me think of like really 70s vintagey kind of something. But I feel like you can see the pattern almost better in this one. It's a really interesting contrast between all 3 colors, right? Color is such a big deal and can make such an impact in your project. So let's talk about how you can really play further, play even deeper with color, especially with overshot. So in overshot, you always have 2 wefts, right? You have a background weft, which is a small little yarn that holds the whole thing together. It's just back there doing plain weave, being the responsible one, holding it together. And your other weft is going to be a much chunkier weft that is the pattern that's going to create all of this kind of interestingness, right? The background one is just fades into the background. You don't even really notice it. It's a tiny one that's back in there. But this green, all the green you see here, that is the pattern weft. Well, what if we played with subtle color variations with the pattern weft? That's where my brain was going for this episode, friends. So let me talk you through it. So if you recall, in the previous episode, I had the pattern weft in this kind of set of creamy colors, right? Really nice. And let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 yarns in there, right? So that was my pattern weft that I started with. But friends, I have 5 opportunities to tweak the color right here. So in my crazy color-loving brain, I thought, what if I, little at a time, swapped out these beautiful creamy colors for a teal? Okay, let me show you the progression. So I took a little swatch of each time I changed the colors. You see that? So that each time I took out a creamy color one and I put in some kind of teal until I ended with this one at the bottom. See this guy right here? Right? And talk about a subtle shift in the way the pattern looks, in the way the colors interact with each other. I'm gonna put up some pictures right here so you can see kind of the transition from this creamy kind of pattern weft to the teal pattern weft, which they look really, really different. But how fun. And you could choose any stop in between, right? Doesn't have to be all cream or all teal. It could be somewhere in the middle. Talk about a great way to play and have fun, experiment with color. All kinds of variations right there. And what I want to make a note of here is that color is a tool. Color is simply a tool. I love the tool with all my heart. However, it's just a tool. And I firmly believe that there's no wrong color or wrong color combinations. There's only color combinations that don't meet your requirements. What are you looking for? What do you want your pattern to say? What do you want your fabric to, what kind of personality do you want it to have? So that's when your job as a weaver is to line up the right colors to communicate that message, right? So as you are playing with colors, I encourage you, don't judge it right away. Just give it an opportunity, take a look, see if it does what you want to do. If it doesn't, great. Keep playing with other colors and finessing it until it communicates what you want to do. Just like in the last episode when I was playing with treadling, I was like, it's not quite, I want a little more of this, a little less of that. Do the exact same thing with color, because that is where the fun in going off-roading comes in, because it's all up to you. It's all that little creative voice that says, okay, I want a little more of this, a little less of that. Let's tweak this all together, whatever it is. So don't forget to play with color in a future project, especially if you have one where it's all decided for you. If you have a kit, maybe, right? And the colors are all laid out. It's all neat and tidy. Ooh, friends, I'm gonna challenge you to mess it up just a little bit. I mean, if you have extra inches at the end or whatever you're comfortable with, but I think it's a good thing to do on occasions, to get in there and find your own unique variation using color. All right, my friends, I'll give you a little teaser. I have one more variation episode coming your way. So don't go anywhere, because it'll be coming up soon. So tell me this, do you like to play with color? Do you get in there and tweak your weft yarns and your warp yarns? Do you like to get in there and play with some color? 'Cause boy, you're preaching to the choir right here. All right, friends, stay tuned for just one more Overshot Variation episode coming your way. Have a great week. Happy weaving.